Hello everyone, welcome back.
Hi guys.
So we are back with a new game. Today we're gonna look at Vampyr. And for those of you who doesn't know Vampyr is a pretty cool game that we didn't know about it, and one of the followers recommended us. And thank you very much again for telling us about that game. And for who's new to the channel, in this channel, what we're doing, we are breaking down the environment and the overall art lighting of a video game, so that you can learn tips and tricks to improve your own your environment that you're making. And if you are a gamer, you can learn more about what goes behind the production of a video game and the thinking process behind a video game. And hopefully all the tips and tricks that we're gonna provide during this live stream will help you see things in a different way and think things differently. I'm Leo. I'm Leonardo. I'm a senior level artist at Ubisoft Toronto, and pretty cool. And with me we have Gianluca.
Hi guys. I'm an Unreal Engine developer and I work for H-Pharma, an Italian company, and we develop business application like VR simulators and stuff like that. So welcome this new episode. As Leo mentioned, this game was suggested us by one of you guys. So if you want to,
it was suggested by Arvize.
Oh,
I hope I pronounce it correctly, which she's watching us. So thanks again, and thanks for coming by.
Yeah,
and thanks Slohan for the host.
Yes, thank you, Slohan. If you want to see your favorite game next analyzed by us, just tell us in the chat or leave a comment on our Discord server or on our YouTube videos.
Okay, let's dive into it. Actually, let me close the door 1 second. So cool that I go off the screen like that. Oh, I know, D'Emilio. Sounds like a Mexican name. Wondering where you're from. Anyway, let's dive into the game, shall we?
Yeah. Let's do it.
And as for who's of you that doesn't know, right now Gianluca is in Italy and is playing the game live as you are seeing it, and he's streaming to me, and I'm like giving notes and doing things, and then I am streaming it to the streaming platform. So there might be some lag here and there, so just bear with us. We'll do the best to reduce that.
It sounds so complicated.
Yeah, it sounds very complicated. Let's dive into the video.
The gameplay.
I keep saying video.
What is war but enslaved stone? What is glass but tortured sand?
So I know Arvize played this game, I guess. Has anyone else played this game before?
I didn't personally. I knew little of this game before today.
From the sacred tree, mortality was believed to be
Same.
God's punishment. A righteous death to keep mankind from ascending to the stars. They were all so wrong. Death is not a wicked thing, nor some holy record.
Cool. Looking cool. Yeah, it's looking really cool actually. And we learned that the studio that made this game is also the studio that made Life is Strange, which was a very good narrative game that I played. It was really nice. Also, the format, how they delivered the game, was separated like in 5 different episodes, and you were playing as they were developing it. I guess it was really cool.
Yeah, a lot of games do that nowadays. For example, Hitman also did that. I don't know if for the last game, Hitman 3, they used the same system. But yeah, you played in episodes.
Yeah, it is. I guess it's cool. Alright, so we are just like getting back to life. Looks like we are in a lot of pain. The sounds and the visual really have felt that. What's gonna happen? So obviously, I think, as the name suggests, we are a vampire. So I guess we are kind of lacking of blood. Or red wine, yeah.
Thirsty. So thirsty.
So that's the vampire vision, I guess, where you see where you can get blood. Oh, that's cool. She seems friendly. Maybe she doesn't know that. She's like, we are alive, or maybe she doesn't know that we turned into a vampire. Now we're gonna. Oh my god! Yeah, from what I saw so far, Aravice, it looks very, very cool. So I'm curious to see what else can I spot. All right, we got the wine, and now we are back.
Damn.
Hold on. Please, hold on.
Oh, so sad. Right at the beginning, now we know that we can kill friendly people, and we shouldn't do that.
That's really sad.
No.
Don't cry, Borto, don't cry.
I feel bad.
I wonder, what have you done?
I did it.
It's a nightmare. No.
Haha, we got a witness here. Let's see what we got here. So if I stop here, right off the bat, you can see how, yeah, the quality is not amazing, but because I think it's so dark, so when it's so dark, the stream kind of bled the colors. But you can see how now that we have the camera in control, now that we are playing, how nicely directed is this thing. So obviously right now it's still all a tutorial. We just finished the first cutscene, so we're just like running away from what we did, and this is probably the way that they used to tutorialize. And because it's a tutorial, everything is very confined, everything is very linear, everything is very like corridor looking environment. And in fact, you can see here how, you know, there is like strong corridor here. We can see that there is some nice silhouette there that are kind of creating a sort of a perimeter around where we're going, I guess, which is this, which confine the space of navigation to this area here. And in general, I think this is pretty straightforward. We got this we got lights in the background there that adds a bit of details on the walls there. They add like a bit of detail that otherwise we wouldn't see. But obviously this is where we're going, and pretty like perspective is helping us. The fact that we got the vanishing point right in the center there is like all the perspective line are guiding us to that location there. And it's another thing really nice is the fact that the time of the day is sort of at dawn or like a sunrise kind of time of the day. And it's really cool to see that in the direction that we're going, we have this opening in the sky here that also attract the eye and add like a nice silhouette on this kind of thing here. But yeah, long story short, you know, if you're making a game, if you're making an environment, you should try to understand for what part of the game this environment is for. So if you're making an environment for the tutorial area of a specific game, then you should consider like making it very easy for the player to understand where they have to go and guide them like hand by hand and helping them to get to where they have to go, which is somewhere here, I guess. We'll see. But yeah, pretty straightforward. Let's see where Jan goes and let's see. It goes in the menu.
Damn. Look at these paddles.
Yeah, we're gonna have time to talk about puzzles.
This can't be happening.
If I stop here, let's see if I got it.
I mean, you know.
If we stop here, you can see the sunrise sort of lighting, and the sunrise and sunset is always an easy win. And those time of the day is what people call them the golden hours, because the light is such in an angle that because the atmosphere, the formation of the light. It creates this sort of yellows colors of the sun, which is pretty cool and makes everything very, very interesting because it creates a nice reflection, as we can see at on the ground. Nice reflection there. You can see on the buildings how like the reflection of the material of the bricks on the thing. So it's always really cool, and it also creates a very long shadows, which is in general very, very nice. And yeah, overall, I think if you're making an environment using a timer set in the golden hours, it's kind of an easy win because you can kind of make something pretty very easily. Although a lot of people knows that, and a lot of people use that and abuse it. So if you do it, make sure that your environment still work also in a normal lighting. And then after you've done most of it, switch to the sunset and see how pretty it is, and then do the final adjustment on player leading and things like that. Because otherwise, if you start with the sunset already, everything's gonna look so pretty already. You might lose focus on the details that you actually have to work on instead of the lighting. But yeah, and in general it's pretty cool because again we got another like channel of light here, which is like directing our eye right there where the track is, and the track probably is the enemies, because right now we are running away from these people that witness what we did, and obviously we need to run away from these people. And it's very cool that we got these lights here that are lower than the camera point, because of that the lights bounce on this terrain and bounce in the camera, and that creates a very interesting reflection of the terrain. And in general, really cool. Another thing that I noticed that is really cool is that I believe like we shouldn't go there, because right now we are in the idea that people equal danger. So cars with the lights on means that people are there, so we don't go there, but instead we're probably gonna go right. And the light here is kind of bringing the eyes to look at this this direction. And not only that, but it also add nice, interesting details on the wall. But another thing that really helps to understand the depth and where we have to go is also the atmospheric fog or the fog. Obviously, in the morning, everything is much more foggy, mystic kind of thing, because you got all the humidity that is getting like it gets foggy. So if you do it in the morning, it's very common to have more atmospheric fog than during the day or during the night. And because of that, they use it very gracefully, because you can see that thanks to that, they separate the two plane that you can see here. And you can see there is, a sort of a way to go over there. And then that's, all thanks to this atmospheric fog that separates this building in the background with the building in the foreground here. And it separates it, so it literally creates a contrast in terms of value. So you can see how the building in the foreground is darker, and then the building in the background, because it's covered by the fog, it's brighter. And because of that, it creates a gap that really helps to sell the fact that there is a way to go, a road going on the right side there. And then in general, in this shot, it's pretty cool because you're running and it's very quick. So there's a lot of directionality in the shot. There's a lot of foreground elements and assets that really that try to guide the eye, to move the eye in the shot here, which is pretty cool. And so pretty cool shot, and it's nice to see all these details here that create some sort of foreground and depth. And and also, as a slow end player said, this is a warm light and this is a cold light, and because of that, sometimes we associate warm as a safe, and cold as not safe. Not all the time, obviously, but that's a kind of general rules. And if you go too warm, so if you go in the red, it becomes unsafe though. So you need to have a temperature of the light that is not too aggressive, because that might look like danger kind of thing. But yellow is very homey, it's very a comfortable light, where the cold light is very clinic. It's very, I don't know, something that you don't want to have at home, right? So I think that's a good point as well. Thank you for bringing it up. Let's see where Borto runs to. Are you ready? Are we ready to see him?
Yep.
Oh my god! Did you run on the right side?
Yeah.
Oh, Mary. What have I done? What's all this about? Shit, where'd it go? Now, I can defend myself.
There you go. Tutorials.
Kill that thing! Over there! Who are you? Stay back!
So one thing here that is really cool, and while Borto is fighting, is in this shot here, and I think I should have taken the shot a bit earlier, but we got this very nice light from the top that is highlighting this area here, which is the area where we have the character. And if you saw other episodes, usually the character is very bright and the background is very dark, and that's how you make the character popping out a bit more, so that it becomes more visible. But in this case, they did the exact opposite. So they made the environment very, very bright, and the character, as you can see, is just a shadow, which is pops out a lot, because it creates a high contrast area in the frame between the bright background and the dark silhouette of the person. So it works either way. So either you have a dark background and you make the character bright so that it pops out, or you do the other way. So you make the environment light and the character dark. Either way works. And in general, having a contrast is what matter. What matter at the end of the day. So because that's where the eye will try to gravitate to, and that's where the eye will look at. Because it's a vampire game. Yeah, also maybe they went for keeping the silhouette dark because maybe it's a vampire game and they wanted to keep it more dark and shady kind of thing. And that could be an hypothesis too. And yeah. Right, cool. Let's go back to the fight. Let's see who survived. He survived. So here, one thing here that I saw right at the beginning here, which is really cool, it's when you have apart that the design of this space is really cool. Just the fact that we got this vertical thing and we are walking on this curve. Oh my god, I can't draw. There you go, kind of. We have this curve thing. It's very cool. But what's really nice in this area here is the two things. One is the contrast of color of light. So you can see how, because of the fire coming from here, we got this very overall warm light in this kind of in this sort of this space here. It's pretty warm. And also thanks to the fact that in the the bricks have like a like reddish color, even if you had like a white light, because the bricks are reddish, the light will bounce and it will create a very warm atmosphere. And if you see in the next room instead, we got a cold or a very neutral light that creates a contrast in terms of colors between this room where we are at and the other room. So we're gonna see that. And but yeah, one thing that it's really cool, and I really suggest to all the 3D artists, is when you have straight lines, like we call it laser lines or something like that in 3D. So when you can see visibly the edge of a cube or a mesh or something, try to break it up. So, and in this case, they did a really good job breaking up this brick wall. Like if you look at it closely, you can see that it's not maybe matching too much the brick shapes, but it does the job, because what we want is to add details. And because the light is right there and it creates shadows around it, you will see how much detail we got on the silhouette there, which really makes it much more cooler to look at and more like believable. You can see another example there. Yeah. So you don't only have to add those details, but you also need to make sure that those details becomes visible with the lighting that you have around. And so yeah, you can see here the shadows. It's not a line, but it's kind of more interesting than a line. And I think also here we got some missing bricks that creates some interesting shapes and things. And there are different techniques to do that. You can do it on the mesh, or literally like cut the mesh around it and extrude it and do like weird things. Or there is also this technique where you can place some sort of a decal. For who's not familiar with a decal, it's just like a plane that you apply on something that adds details underneath, and the decal can have a normal information that breaks this up and add the details that you want to see with the lighting. And because the normal maps kind of change how the rays of the light bounce on a 3D surface, it will make it look like someone has been sculpting this edge here. So you can either model it, you can do that. There are different ways to achieve this sort of details. And let's keep going. I hope this is helpful. Back to the game. So this scene is really cool. What I like is the amount of details and planes we have. Obviously, we got this nice source of light here, which are very unique. Because whenever you have the chance to create a source of light without using traditional light fixtures or light from the sun, it can make a really cool atmosphere. And because of the smoke coming out from it, the steam or whatever it is, it really makes it like a really interesting way to light this space. So yeah, whenever you have the chance, try to make it to light your space with source of light that are not as common as just having a light bulb somewhere, something like that. And yeah, what I liked of this is it's like the amount of details that we have in the foreground. You see, we have this chain here. I think the chain was moving, or maybe not, maybe it wasn't moving, I don't know. But it's really cool because it creates a very nice foreground, which improves the sense of immersion in the frame. And I think, yeah, it creates immersion, creates depth and things like that. And yeah, overall also all these elements create some sort of planes throughout the image. And because it's the same, in the same sort of asset repeated, that naturally give us a very good sense of scale, because we are close to one asset, and we know this. We know how roughly how tall the character is. So we know that the character is this tall. So if we are close to this object here, we know that this character is around 180. Let's do 2 meters to make it easy. And we are seeing that it's like halfway this thing. We know that this is 2 meters, and we know that this 2 meters. So probably this 2 meter this far in the perspective means that it's that far, and we understand how far the back wall is and how far everything is. And yeah, it's big. And I think having this sort of repeated elements that people can relate to is a really good way to add the depth and a better understanding of the scale of the space, especially if you're making a space that is very uncommon. So it's like a gigantic sculpture or something. Like it would definitely help having those details that really says the spatial idea of the space and gives the player and the viewer a sense of how big the size is of the room. And in this case, it's pretty clear. You can see we got like those pipes there, but we also have this thing, which is, I think, repeated twice. So we got one there and one there, and you can see that when things get far from in a perspective way, you will see that they get smaller. As if you know about perspective, you know that. If you don't Google perspective, you will find a lot of information about it, and you can see how the further things are, the smaller they get. So because of that, we are used to see in real life, and because of that we get a really good sense of scale. And yeah, pretty cool. Let's go back to the game. Let's see who survived again, because I think there was a fight here.
So yeah, Fate was right. You did a tutorial about edge sticker, right?
Yeah, I did a tutorial.
Why did you mention it? You should also link it into the chat.
If you go on my ArtStation, you should find it. let me because I don't have Chrome open, because I don't wanna.
You can find in the about.
Yeah, in the description, you should find the link. Exactly. And yeah.
Oh, what's going on? Poor guy.
The sun. It feels like it's burning me to the bone.
The sun.
I need to find somewhere.
Oh.
That makes sense why it's morning then.
to find shelter.
We need to find a repair for the day. Come on.
Okay, so if I stop it here. So, as you can see, and you probably already noticed, we got this nice red doll in front of us, which already, just the fact that it's red tells us, oh, probably we need to interact with that because a player has been educated in that way. So everything that has a color that pops from the rest of the environment, it's really like, oh, that's where you're going. On top of that, we got a light signposting that, and we spoke about light and signposting with lights in other episode. For example, Batman or the Cyberpunk one. So if you're interested, again, go check those episodes there. And because the light is signposting there, and also right now we are the enemy of people, right? And people wrote here, keep out, which means, you know, you shouldn't go inside because there is something bad happen, but we are the bad people right now. In this moment of the game, we are the bad person that is running away from the good people, according to the narrative of this thing. So that's another like suggestion. Oh, probably we're gonna find safety there. And also you can see how everything around this door is very well placed. You can see there are details there. There is these pieces, these, you know, stones, steps that are only visible there. That are leading the view right there, which is pretty cool. We got the ivy that, you know, goes close to it but doesn't go on top of it. And I don't know what this light is. I don't know what this is, but yeah, in general, like, you know, everything moves and tells you to go check the door, which is pretty cool. And yeah, let's go back to the video. Father, just send me a message and I can send you the PDF via email. If you read in the description of Gamma Station, it says that you just send me a message, and if you introduce yourself, you will get it. We're not bad people. We just love red wine, indeed. What's your favorite red wine, Sloan?
What have you done?
Mary! Mary! Mary, I'm sorry. Whoever did this to us, I will find them.
I don't drink. Ah, okay.
Just in games.
So did I really give it to you? Send me another message. I might have missed it.
Wait, this one's dressed up fancy. Let's run through his pockets.
In the dead's pocket.
Actually, let me check now.
Still a rent to pay. He's got no more responsibilities. What's this? Go watch.
Beautiful it is. We fancy it just take
I'm really bad with names, so forgive me in advance.
Undertakers. Now, give me an E. That's impossible.
Yeah, I found it. Yeah, I'll send it to you. I thought you were only interested in the text identity one. My Italian dad will kill me if I say I don't drink wine.
Who goes there? Who's there? Are you referring to me? No,
Yeah, it's fine, father.
no.
Don't worry. And then, where are you guys from? So I guess you are half Italian, otherwise?
I still have so much left.
Maybe, don't know. And if it wasn't clear, we are both Italian. I don't know if you can hear the accent.
It's pretty subtle, so maybe.
Also, the name doesn't really suggest that, right? Nice, nice.
Cool.
I don't hear about a lot of Pakistani artists, so I'm glad
We need to leave. And now,
you guys are from everywhere.
I can save him.
Mario and Luigi.
The enemy coming. The orders are to evacuate the hospital. Done.
Pretty cool, pretty cool. Yeah, as always, guys, if you have questions about game dev in general, whatever you think in mind, even if not related to art specifically, feel free to ask, and I'll do my best to answer that. Half Italian, half Cuban, but born in Montreal. Oh my god, that sounds so interesting and nice.
So international.
This makes no sense. None of it. No sense at all.
Oh.
Yeah, I feel like your family name is the Italian part indeed. Let's see what's going on in the game.
So be it.
Oh my god.
Where are they originally
God.
from with that surname?
Rational thinking only.
My god, no, don't do it. Someone will stop this to happen. It's up
We have
to
a
you.
choice?
Can you decide not to? Do you want to shoot? Do you want Borto to shoot himself or no? I think. I'm wondering. Oh my god, you are a monster! Can you imagine? And credits titles. Cool, cool. So this part was, the tutorial. Good, we went through. Right, speedrun.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Give us like a bit of setting, time of day. We lost a lot of blood, so now we need to get more blood.
This is
So-
absolute madness. I've lost touch with the real.
Yeah, don't feel bad, Father, about bugging us. Like if you're curious about things, let us know. Oh, look at that skill tree. That doesn't look like a tree. That look like there we go, the skill tree. No, we need more red wine, indeed. It's such a such a bad choice we did, shooting ourselves, and now we bled. We did bleed a lot, and now we need to get that blood back. So we need to kill more.
I don't really know what I'm doing, but
Like in general, in life.
But I can't really. Oh, okay. Oh, so okay, yes. Okay. So we don't have enough points to do new stuff, right? Okay, we can go, I guess.
Yeah, and you know, if more than probably this game has been through a lot of playtests, and I think there has been some people bringing up this problem, but probably the UI team was too hard to better guide the player there with the things.
Must find him to understand what I have become.
Oh yeah, voices in my head. Or maybe not.
So Father had a question, would love information on texture atlasing for mobile games and how they think about planning it. I think that's a good question, and I think we should cover that when we do, if we do a mobile game. But in general, on my mobile game, for my experience, there is a lot of optimization, and you will see how the same mesh, the UV of the same mesh is mapped in very weird ways and very creative way to create the look of the model, so that you can keep the texture size very small and have interesting character. And in terms of atlasing, also atlasing is good because when you load the texture, you load all the models that reference that texture will be already loaded, so you only have one texture. The thing is, when you're loading one texture, you need to make sure that you use most of the space of the texture, which means that if you're in an area that is dressed with all the props that use the same texture, that's good. But if you're in an area that only a third of the object that you place use that texture, and then other objects use other atlas, that's where it becomes a bit heavy. So I think you need to plan a lot and dedicate prop for different areas so that you don't overlap texture and things.
Cool.
What happened here?
Can't really tell, but was cool. Damn.
I'm gonna at some point I'm gonna stop. You can kill them or you can sack them. That's good. So I'm gonna stop a second here so that I can explain better what I meant to Father. And so let's say that drink them. Yeah, maybe drink them is a better way of wording it. So sorry.
I didn't really get it. No.
So if this is your texture and you go texture A, texture B, texture C, and then you go texture D, E, and F. It's pretty cool. And then you have your models, which is this nice cube here. So I can draw, apparently. That is mapped. Now I'm gonna draw the UV on top of it. So this is gonna be the UV. It's gonna be a bit like that, and then actually let's just so you got 4 faces, and we need 2 more faces, and 1 face is mapped here, and 1 face is mapped I don't know, that. Which is cool. All right. So you can see how this model doesn't use the entirety of the atlas, but only use ABC, right? And then you got, let's say, another model, which is this cone, which is gonna be like that, and it's gonna be something like, okay, that's the cone, or whatever you decide to do, and it's gonna be using D. So if we are, so here is A, B, C, and this guy is using D, and then you have another guy, which is a sphere that use, let's change color, let's use yellow. So the sphere, if it's nicely unwrapped, you can get something like that, like Google Map, right? Unless you think that the Earth is flat. Which I made an Easter egg of. So you can see this is the sphere. Actually, let me draw it with a different color. And the sphere use E and F. E and F. And then you got another object which can be, this is very technical, so if someone is not technical, bear with us. We got this other object which is now a cube, but is this. Okay, and that is mapped, I don't know, there. The UV of that thing is mapped there, and I don't know, like something like that. It's getting very messy, but you will see the atlas are very messy because you want to pack a lot, the more UV you can in the same material, so that you don't have to create more texture. And that is A, B, and D, and A, let's say, something like that. So you see how all these objects are using the same texture, which is the same atlas, which is pretty cool because you know, once you see an object in your game, you load the atlas. So having these other 3 objects, it doesn't really cost you as much as having an object with a new texture to load in. So in this case, like you'll only have to load the mesh. So it's more a matter of mesh, polygons, things like that, but not like memory, which is like one of the bottleneck of performance. Mm-hmm. And so this is cool, and this is cool if you create an environment where you got your cube there, you got a cube there, and then you got some cones there and there, and then you got this sphere there, which is pretty cool. Got a sphere, and then you got this nice thing there. Pretty nice. And that's, let's say, your environment, right? That's what you see on your phone, and that's cool because you use this object here are all used here, and they're all using the same texture, so it doesn't really have a bad impact in terms of texture memory, which again is one of the bottleneck. But if you start to create, let's say, that's pretty cool, and I think we understand that. Hopefully, let me know in the comments. If instead of doing that, you create a scene that has, let me change color. Let's use what color didn't we use? We didn't use orange. All right, so orange is a new mesh that we didn't do. So you see, it's not there. So we got this asset that is orange. So this is another type of environment. We got this asset that it's white, and it's placed there and there. And then we got this this pink. This is this pink. This pink that it is there, and it's pretty cool. So also this asset here, they're probably using another atlas. So they are using another texture, which is, you know, as we just explained, it works really well because you're gonna have all the things mapped in one texture, so you're gonna load only one texture. The problem of atlasing comes when in this part of the environment here, you decide to place this sphere. So if in this part of the environment you decide to place this sphere there, you are loading this thing, this extra texture here, and you're only using this like 15% of the texture. So because of that, you're using like 50% of an extra texture. And you don't want to do that. So that's why like you need to be careful when you atlasing thing, because you want to make sure that you use at least like 70% of the whole atlas. You can have one object in that space that takes in a big texture that you only use 50%. And I think that I hope that answers your question. So in that case, what would you do? I would either consider creating a variation of this that mapped into this atlas here, or if this is an object that you repeat often, like coins, like collectible or things like that, I think you should have another texture, which is a texture that is always loaded or something, because there are gonna be elements everywhere and you're gonna often use them, etc. And that should load to that, but not to another generic static object. Does that answer your question, Fade? And I hope it's clear for everyone. Yeah, I think we can go back to the game.
Oh. Yeah.
So Carfood is saying, I like the ambient light here. It's light enough to follow the gameplay, yet dark enough to create a painterly feel when it lit with artificial light, torches and gas lamps. Yeah, I think that's something that we try to do often with lighting. We try to make it very, very, very nice for the eyes from an artistic point of view, like very painterly and very, if you are making a dark environment, we try to make it very dark. And we try to get the balance of making it pretty as well as making it readable for the player, because if you're only focusing on making pretty things, you should work in film. If you are focusing on making pretty things and allow the players to move around the space, then the game is a good industry to work for.
My poor sister.
Ooh.
If only I had control.
Got so many pipes.
Yeah.
Mary, someone will pay for what happened to you.
We spoke.
Okay.
Oh my god, what happened? Did you eat a mouse?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It happened.
Again, guys, if you have more questions, feel free to ask. Even if they are not related to the game, we'll try our best to answer it. Can you not jump?
Yeah, but... Oh, okay.
It's locked.
Just want to make sure that I explored it enough.
Ooh, very dishonored.
I can now control it. It's locked.
Let's eat some rats.
Yes.
For blood. What will London have to say to me?
Nice reminder that we are in London.
It's locked all right.
You can see also
Questions unanswered.
by the amount of bricks. Yummy rats
And the
indeed.
amount of rats.
We say red wine, now rat wine. Good point. Good point.
Another corpse. Have the very streets of London become a mausoleum? The man has been drained of all blood, but I can still smell the scent of it. I follow the scent's trail. Perhaps it will lead me to my assailant.
Ready to stop here. So if we look at here, obviously that's something very common when you have something very recognizable like a fence, like a guardrail, like a banister or something that you see starting and then it breaks. You can see here it broke. That's very guiding the player to go through the gap that creates, and also the fact that we got if you saw other episode we mentioned already, but a lot of time in game we signpost navigation, like where you can climb, where you can grapple, where you can do things, and in this case because we are in a vampire game, I think it makes so much sense to have blood signposting this sort of vertical navigation thing. And yeah, in general, like if you have something very recognizable like a fence and you break it and you show like the gap, that's a very strong way to lead the player on that spot here. Let's say that you're working on a rooftop or something, and all the rooftop are fence all around. If there is one place that the fence is broken, you want to go there and you want to check down what's there, and that's a good way to create movement in environment. So when you're making an environment, try to create this sort of you need to think when you make an environment, think about what game that environment should work for, and then from the main shot, which is literally like the camera, like in this case after cinematic we got this shot. So from the shot that you choose for the environment, try to add these elements to show the intention of creating navigation throughout the environment that you're making for your portfolio. I think that's a really good way to make a personal project, not just making it pretty, but also making it very practical from a gameplay point of view, as much as you can. Even if this is like things that the level design will do, if they see that in your piece of art, it will also improve the quality of your work, especially if you apply for the game industry. Also, one good things here that they did to also make this even more visible is two things. We got this sort of dirt here that is blending and kind of going up here, which is where we're going there. And also the light right behind. You can see there is this, let's use the red. There is this red light here, which is great, which is pretty cool. And as you can see, probably it's raining and there's like a strong fog or something like that, which, as we saw earlier, creates a very strong contrast between the background. Probably you can barely see that. I think there are some building in the background, but I can't really see them, which makes this broken banister very obvious and very like appealing for the eye. Even if you got a way up, you see, you can decide also to go up there and go up there. I think this is like the banister for the stairs, or you can also see the stairs here. So it's like, no, you don't necessarily have to go there, but I guess you can choose the way to play the game. And that's also another good thing that you should consider an environment. When you're making an environment, unless it's like a corridor or unless it's like something very compact, if you make like a big game environment, try to create different flanking routes to give the chance for the player to express their own player style, thing like that. So you can fly there, or you can just walk around there, and you can go left, or you can go right. There's another light there that is like highlighting this and showing you that, which is pretty cool. So try always to add a different way to approach the objective of the environment you're making. Hope that makes sense. Let's go back to the video. The gameplay. I keep saying video, but it's the gameplay.
Fresh blood. Something dire must have come about. Where has everyone gone?
Dun, 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 dun. Oh, a nice view.
According to the blood patterns, that's where the victim was attacked. So that must be the killer's trail.
Can't get enough of these rats. So tasty.
We got a question.
So is it
I'll let you spawn it.
okay, but you need to do more.
So you don't need to go to the menu. You can leave a nice gameplay while you do what you're doing.
What I'm doing?
I don't know. Question time. What I'm saying, like when you find the button to press, don't need to go to the menu. Leave it to the gameplay unless you're fighting. It's better. Question time. We got a question from Fahe again. So you mentioned about a texture that's always loaded. Would it be where we will have decals? Can we have decals in the same texture atlas? Do mobile games use vertex blending? And if so, would it be where we have texture variation, vertex blender, or would it be simple blending where we would only change roughness to make the texture dark if you have vertex blend? That's a big question. I hope I understand what you are asking. So the first thing you ask is, can you include the decal in the atlas? Yes, obviously. And you, based on the environment that you're making, you might want to create a different atlas per environment. So let's say that you're making a very organic place with the grass and rocks and flowers and pretty things. And then in contrast to that, you're making an environment very industrial, very concrete, very full of pipes and things like that. Obviously, you're not going to need the decals such as welding decals or the rust decal or the screw decals in the garden, right? In the organic environment. So you don't want to have an atlas that you share with both environments that use these elements. So in that case, I would do an atlas of decals for the industrial space and an atlas for decals for the garden place. What I mentioned about texture that is always loaded, it's more like you got those two spaces that are very different and they're very unique in their way, but both will have the same probably collectible, the same decals on where you navigate if you want to climb, the same icon on the terrain if you want to signpost something. They're gonna have some similarities, some like same visual language throughout both environments, even if they're very different visually. And that's, I think, the asset that you should have in this atlas that is always loaded everywhere. And about if the mobile game use vertex blending, so vertex blending, it's really tricky because it's a really cool technology, but relies on vertexes, and especially on mobile where the performance are a bit limiting. you can have too many polygons. So the objects that are far away from you, they get a different version of the same object, which is called LOD, which stands for level of details. And the level of details allows the same mesh to have the same look from the distance, but with less geometry. So if you have a mesh that 100 triangles, and that's the lot 0, so the lot that you see when you're very close, the second lot is going to be lot 1, and it's going to have 80, enough to kind of generate the shape and the general visual language. And then this lot 2 will have 40 polygons, and that will only work on the silhouette. And then the last one is going to be just a plane with a silhouette kind of thing. And because of that, if you paint and blend things with a vertex, you are risking that you are not gonna maintain the same sort of blending on the distance. So yes, you can use vertex blending, but you shouldn't use for things that are very different in terms of contrast, because if you use the vertex blending to blend two materials and one is dark and one is bright, and you got a very clear cut between those two materials, when you're close, you're going to see that and it's cool. But when you go a bit further, if the geometry is a bit different and it's not very aligned with that cut, you will see that popping, and you don't want to see the mesh popping and things like that. So that's when you don't want to use vertex painting, things like that. I hope that answers your questions. And we are ready to go back to the gameplay. You ready, John?
Yeah.
Let's go back.
Want to also say thanks to Marcos Brito, that it's always so nice.
Oh, yeah. By the way,
we really appreciate beauty.
Yeah, indeed.
Thank you, Marco.
And just so you know, we fixed the donation, Marco, if you want to try again. Yeah.
I think we have fixed them. So you should try it.
I didn't do anything. Porto did it.
I think the UI indicator bugged.
Looks like it, yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Can you at least leave it on the corner? Like go in the menu, put it on the corner, and then go back?
I see. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. You need to have this sort of skill, this problem-solving skill, when you work in game in dev, because you need to solve skill. So, like, if I stop here, you can see how, and we already mentioned that, they're using the blood as a way to signpost where to go. So in this case, they use the blood to signpost that it's safe to jump. It's like safe, it's like that's the landing spot. And it's very cool because there's a nice contrast between, the floor and the blood. And to go back to what you were asking, Fade, I think the blood decals are in an atlas that is shared everywhere because they're gonna use the same blood everywhere, regardless by the environment.
Getting pure can't keep given USD. Please look, I remove a shirt toward this donation.
I don't know what happened.
What happened?
I think Marco just donated something, and I was really trying to understand what the donation was saying, but I couldn't really understand.
Oh no, I couldn't hear it. I missed it.
I'm gonna go back to the video later and check it out. But yeah, you can see how
it work.
Yeah, it worked, but I didn't understand a word. I was like, "What the hell is it?" So yeah, the blood it would be something that is shared everywhere. So it would be always loaded text that would be everywhere, kind of thing. I hope that makes explain better what I was saying earlier. Let's go back to the game.
So maybe we should fix that, Marcos, for the next episode. So
we're gonna always leave something that will bug you.
At last, a little life.
Hello, sir.
oh,
Right. Is there any way I can help
it's
you?
a chit chat game.
Maybe you could just talk to me.
Maybe you prefer to speak with Tom then. He's more agreeable talking to strangers.
Yeah, I think so. I think the like smoke and things that moves or things that are coming from one direction and you're seeing where they're coming from. I think those definitely helps to move the players towards that direction. Also, another good things that really helps is the movement. So if you had like a light from the bar,
How many last summer?
casting shadow on obviously moving on top of the door, and you will see the shadow moving, you want to go more inside the bar.
So many quarantines.
So yeah, you're right.
London now. It's gotten really
Quarantine zone, oh my god. Where is this game set?
What can
bodies.
corridor?
No one knows.
Nowadays.
I just want to talk. I didn't mean to scare you.
I'm not afraid, sir. It's just I've...
I only
Should I?
Red wine?
What is this place?
This is Tom's spot. Turquoise Turtle.
Allardyce is saying red wine. I guess something bad will happen.
You don't seem to have much business. Where is everybody?
Well, most people are sleeping right now.
Are you always open this late at night?
No, it's only since the epidemic started.
Oh my god, it's really grounded, this narrative.
Okay. Oh, so we can saki and get 1,500 XP if we suck her. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
It's up to you.
Good evening, sir. I wondered if I could ask for your help.
Wow, you look like you need a drink.
Yes.
Wow.
I apologize for my outfit. It's
Been there, seen that.
Has anybody entered the bar recently?
Can't say. Sorry.
This is important, sir. Are you sure?
I don't know and I don't care.
This guy no
What's going
good.
on around here?
Like this guy
No
looks
good at all.
sounds a bit rude. Maybe you can
Maybe
drink
we should saki him.
his blood.
Okay. Drink.
I'll leave you to your bottle.
Even Slow Energy say like that one is full of sweet red wine. What happened if you do it here? Will everyone get?
Yeah.
No, you shouldn't do it here. Maybe. Probably you can't even do that.
Yeah.
Oh, God, sir, you look like Joe.
No, thank you.
Well, grab a chair and get some rest. This is...
You look like no, thank you.
Tell me more.
It's like when someone give you a flyer, like take this, and it's like no, thank you. You don't even know why you're talking about.
Where am I? Where is this?
You're at my bar, sir.
The turquoise turtle. Okay. Yep.
So,
Yep.
Yeah.
aren't you
Scared of what?
I'm looking for someone who might have passed.
It's been quiet tonight.
You mean he's...
Can you ask for rats?
How long has he been
We rented the room 2 days ago and didn't say when he'd leave.
Are rats in the menu?
What does he look like?
Well, like a gentle.
I need to meet this man.
Just climb the stairs and knock on the first door.
Yes?
No funny business.
So upstairs.
It's locked.
Let's go upstairs.
Dun dun dun. Dun dun dun. Will someone die soon?
Looking for vampires, and they're most efficient.
They'll not relent until the killer has been identified.
I have a common objective, but I require...
I think someone has eavesdropped
eavesdropping. Are you certain? You might as well be, whoever you are.
Slowly, vampire.
Oh.
Who are you?
Oh my god.
I mean you no harm, saith the vampire. Present yourself. I need a word with anyone.
Well, that's something I can do for you.
So that's it. We are friends.
Yeah, but
Friends
you can
now, okay.
drink his blood again. Look at his dash. Such a nice dash.
And who might you be?
Oh, so we need. This is different, I guess. We are really taking choices here. You first.
Yeah, you need to take a choice.
First, tell me what you want. Then I may tell you.
That's none of your concern.
Sir, you have entered my room in the middle of the night, pale as a corpse and shaking like a tree. So please, indulge me.
Something
Fair enough.
is molesting people.
So this seems like a game I need to, play a few hours and then restart because I'm doing it all wrong.
Like you.
No, there's no wrong or right.
Yeah, there is.
I've been hunted down in the streets and attacked. I'm a victim here too.
I believe you.
Then if you are not a vampire, who or what are you?
Dr. Edgar Swansea of the Brotherhood of St. Paul.
Okay, guys, if you have other questions, that this is a good time to ask them.
If you'll first
Yeah.
tell me why.
Questions about vampires or
I follow a
werewolves.
trail. The scent of blood from a...
You thought I was...
Okay, so maybe I should have listened what I was saying. Yes or no? Leo, yes or no?
Yes.
You're a yes man, I see.
Yet I heard his voice in my head. There was a moment I believed I was mad.
You should let me handle this affair. You've no idea what you're up against. How will you do any better than I?
Huh?
I'll end him.
Then I can only wish you good hunting.
Oh.
Ooh.
Okay.
You became his assassin. Beep, 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 beep.
Thanks for the coins.
Can you go back inside and look at him? Like look at the side of the room. Where is he at? Like if I stop here, I think when you're making an environment, it's really cool if you can create some unique area. So in this case, you can see how interesting and is from a gameplay point of view and also the design point of view. Obviously, the walls and everything is just the walls of this pub or place we are in. So it's not much different, but you can see all the objects there are all unique to this space here. And those objects are there to sell us the idea that this is like a sort of his office room thing. And there's this very iconic desk with books, with papers and other things there. Plus there are some, I think, certificate or document. Maybe, was he a doctor? I think he was a doctor, right? So probably those are certificate of his past, I guess, something. And here looks like we got other document, maybe I don't know, who people missing or something happened to people, or I don't know, news that is interesting. But in general, even with very small assets, so just like a desk, a few props there, and some shelf with some book in the background, it really sells me the idea of this being an office space kind of thing. And I think that works really well. And then the light, the fact that the office, when we think about office, we don't think about the home. We don't think about that's where we relax kind of thing. That's where we work. And I think the fact that we got a kind of artificial light going on top of it and creating this sort of cold atmosphere around the guy there, it's a good way to reflect that things, that we go to the office to work, and we need to work, we need to focus and things. So it's not like relaxed and comfy. But but at the same time, you still see things related to the age and the year of where this place is set, such like this candle. So probably power is something that only rich people can afford because of, I guess it was more expensive back in the time. So yeah, he's rich. It's like he has a job. Apparently, he just gave you a job as well, so he has money and he can afford light, and this is an office, so it all kind of makes sense from that point of view. And the fact that we have light there, we got lantern there, and things like that, it really ground this space to the universe of this game, which is this old London in the, I guess, Industrial Revolution. I don't know when is this set. I assume in the Industrial Revolution or something like that. But the candles not only adds, not only contextualize this room to the setting of the game, but only creates a nice gradient, warm, cold, with the lights in the middle. You can see the gradient that we have here, which is pretty cool. Very shiny chair indeed, exactly. And because this is also, as I was saying at the beginning, this is like very good from both the level art and the gameplay point of view. The chair is very shiny because probably just the material, but you can find how a lot of people sitting, a lot of people touching something, it will make that things more polished, which means more soft, which means shinier. So that works well in this case, and it's also signpost the players. Oh, I need to sit there, and in fact, that's where we were sitting. It's just before this shot here, and it's really cool. As you can see, everything is very clean, and everything is very tidy because that's an office. That's his office space, and it's pretty straightforward. And I really like the storytelling of this scene. It's very clear and it's very simple. You don't need much things. You just need the right things. Let's go back to the gameplay.
So we need to find out who did this to us.
Who did that? Otherwise, I think that could be the case. I'm not entirely sure because I'm not the dev, but if you think about offices and professionalism and jobs, you think light from the sky, usually white and things like that.
I'll leave you to your bottle then.
Evening, sir. Can I help
Yeah,
you?
so
I have a few questions.
yeah, it was London, the 19,000.
He's not the man I'm looking for. Now I want the truth.
The truth? What do you mean?
I suspect that someone else was here tonight, and I don't think Tom wants to tell me about it.
I'm just the barmaid here, okay? If Tom says you're the only...
Hey, Father, you're back with another clan. Thank you for following.
Feel your
Sorry for the battery of your phone.
what's going on.
Yeah, it's definitely a good setting for the vampire because you can play a lot with the contrast, with the darkness, since power was starting to become a thing in that age and not yet. So you can also create a contrast between, like a social contrast between who has power, who doesn't have it, and you can play with the storytelling around these sort of elements, which is really good. More skill tree, yeah. But yeah, in general, while Borto figure out what to do here, when you're making an environment and you are working in a old age or like even in a nowadays, you should try to understand you know what's the socials, you know, if there is a corporation, what color do you want to have on that corporation, what is like, are there poor and rich people, how do you define poor and rich, who can afford a certain technology, who cannot afford, and with those things in mind you should be able to communicate that with storytelling in your environment. So when you're making an environment, you need to think really well about this backstory behind and the universe of the world that you're making, unless you're making something just based on reality. And so yeah, you should be able, like as an environment artist, should be a very good communicator first, because that's what you need to communicate with your environment. And I think a lot of people lack that, and I think like, you know, you should see environment art and level art as a way to communicate, and in order to do that you need to know what you want to communicate. That's why I think it's important to know before you start, to know what you want to make and how you want to describe it and X, Y, Z. I hope that makes sense. I would prefer a White Wolf game, like Vampyr the Masquerade.
I will get to the bottom of this intrigue. What's been done to me, to this city?
I know only one White Wolf, and it's The Witcher.
Ooh, we're playing The Witcher? You want to play The Witcher?
The body is still warm. This man has just been drained of blood.
I'm gonna try to pay attention to who has power in this city. So let's see if power is something for rich people only, or connected to rich people. And sometimes, as an artist, like as a lighting artist, I will say, okay, I wanna, you know, let's break the rule for this specific case because that will improve drastically the visual of the look, which is fine too. Like, it's fine to break the rules, but at the same time, when you break the rules, why don't you try to justify why you broke the rules? So if you really want to have a cold light next to a warm light, add some elements that keep the cold light consistent with the other one. So if there is a poor dead person with a yellow light and there is a white light there, just because you want a nice gradient, try to make sense of it. Was police there? There is a police car there that was investigating, you know, things like that really connects the color and the type of light temperature with each situation. I think will be really good. What is a GGD?
GTD?
Game Design Director. How do they make the vampire vision? Can you go in the vampire vision, Berta?
Yeah.
Go back a bit. Let's see the blood that you got on the floor. Okay, let me stop here. So looking at what I'm seeing, this looks like it's only a filter on the camera where it turns the saturation down of things, so everything becomes black and white, and it also adds a sort of a filter to reduce the contrast, basically. And I think also the fog, there's like they increase the atmospheric fog to make it more like atmospheric and very different from the normal the normal way you play the game. And I can see the decals here, and all like the hints are just meshes. So imagine there is like a plane here, which is kind of like that. It's a mesh that has that as an alpha, and you can see that. And probably they decide to set those mesh with a flag that they're only visible when you are in this view, so that when you are in the normal world, either you don't see them. I don't think you will see them in the normal vision, but in the vampire vision you will see them, and you will get an idea. So I think it's a lot to do with the post-processing, which is like the effect that you apply on the camera once you get the whole image, and some like flag of make this asset visible when you are in the view and make it invisible when you're not. I think that's a mixture of these things. Back to the game.
Which asset is invisible and?
No, okay. So the blood. So probably the blood has. So I thought it was invisible, but I was wrong. And the blood probably has just an input in the material. Basically, every asset has a material, and every material has different properties, like the diffuse, the type of roughness the material has, the normal map, which I explain later, and other details. And probably they made a custom input for the blood for the visual, so that when you go in the vision, everywhere you have blood, you see it, and it makes them more visible and helps the player to lead through.
Seems like it turns on the emissive color of the blood, of the material of the blood.
Yeah, something like that. Can be the emissive or can be something else.
Also spawn a particle. Do you see that?
Yeah.
That when you enter, there's this particle
it's like dust particle, which is probably you like the sensation is that the dust is everywhere, but literally we spawn like when you place particle, there is an emitter and there is a volume where you spawn them, and probably the volume is just around the camera, and when you move, it gets like pulled and looks like the dust is everywhere, but it's actually not everywhere, because that would be so expensive to create.
Yeah,
pretty cool. And it's pretty cool that they don't add other apart from the UI, they don't add other visual cues to lead you, but they just use the blood that you see in the real world, which make you feel like, I should have saw that or something like that. And next time you're learning this thing, and probably next time you pay more attention to the blood around them before you even go into the vampire view, unless you have to for this. I don't think it's harder to design. Like you mean like. Is it harder to design an environment that has the vampire view functionality? If that's the question, I don't think so, because in this case, as I was mentioning, the same blood that you see in the normal view, it's also the blood that you see in the vampire view, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
And in that specific case, I think it is more like it might take long to design, but not because it's hard. It's more because you want to fine tune every little thing. So the amount of contrast, the amount of light, the colors, the particles, how much does it move, all those like little fine tuning and visual effects, rather than it will take ages to make, because I think it should be pretty quick. Yeah, the dust part that I was saying is that when you spawn in the vampire view, you get these dust particles in the air that kind of makes you realize that you're in another vision and kind of froze the time or something like that. And when you're moving, they are moving in the space, and it looks like they are everywhere in the space, but that's actually just a smoking mirror things. I don't know what to say. It's just like. It's not everywhere, because if you have particles everywhere, it will be very expensive. There is just a volume that spawns particles around the camera, and that's what makes the impression of they're everywhere. And when you move the camera, the particle moves, but they're always always around you, kind of thing. But the answer. A game design documentation. Like, if you're making a game, obviously you need a game design documentation. If you're making an environment, what I would do first is making sure I know what I want to make. I want to understand what's the universe of the environment I'm making. I want to understand what's the narrative behind. And an easy way to do that is if you're making an environment for a game, you need to think of, all right, what game is this environment for? And you're thinking, okay, it's for Last of Us, okay? And Last of Us has covers, it's in a post-apocalyptic world, and things like that. And then you're using the Last of Us universe and the Last of Us gameplay functionality, and then you decide your own narrative. So you say, okay, in this universe, in this post-apocalyptic universe, and in this cover-based game and stealth game, I want to have a person that used zombie as a dog. Something that you don't see in Last of Us, and you want to show that. So then you start to build the environment, and you start to communicate these things. And you probably this person that have zombies and infected, that they use as a dog with chain and things. So what is the narrative of that specific place? So you need to think, you go deeper to the thinking process, and you think, okay, what is happening in the environment that you're making? And you can, I don't know, in a context like that, I would say, all right, the environment that I'm making, it's where they cage all the zombie for when they need it, like almost like, the bad person that cage the dogs in a place where it's dark and things like that, and they make them fight or something. So you can have all that communicated with the environment, which is, you need to have cages, you need to have a ring if they want to fight, and you need to kind of show the personality of that person doing those things. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, no, I think that makes sense. Advice. And on top of that, you should, every time you make something, you should put yourself in the mind of the bad person, the policeman, the good person, and try to do things as you were them. So that you're like, if you are the bad person that keeps the zombie and try to train them to fight together, you're like, okay, where do I store the zombie? Am I afraid of the zombie? Okay, I want to place the cigar there because I like to smoke cigar when I'm looking at the zombie fighting. So you need to put your mind and your thinking process in that person and try to figure out with that mind. Sometimes might be a bit hard and a bit like cringe, especially if you are doing things that involve blood and dead people. It's a bit weird to get yourself in the mind of someone who suicide themselves, and you like try to figure out all the different placement of things. But I think with the time and experience, you will learn to detach your like personal life to those kind of things. If you look up my Google search history, it's like they will arrest me.
Sorry.
Hope that helps you.
This place reeks of bloodshed.
Are you gonna blackmail me now? I remember like in I remember when I was working on The Division, that we had this faction that was it was building weapons, building bombs. So we were like trying to understand how to build things in like to build bombs and things like that. It was very weird to search those kind of things. But it was a good thing because we were able to recreate elements of that process that really makes it believable kind of thing. And that's what worked. There was another mission where this faction was caging people. They were like capturing people and caging them and putting in cage and putting that. So that was another very harsh things to Google, because that's something that unfortunately happened and it was a bit weird to look at. But because we were looking at it, we were like understanding better what's the setting of how when someone gets caged and things like that. That really helped us to realize a more believable scene.
You're suffering from shock. I must return to my flock. They'll stray without me.
Oh. Was that a zombie?
Remember, certain skulls are every bit as resistant.
Maybe.
What do you mean by skull?
You truly are a newborn. I should have realized.
Wait. You are the woman from the bar. Are you like me? Can you help me?
I believe, sir, I already have.
Ah, she saved your life, of course. Oh, so many Dishonored references. Do you remember when you were playing Dishonored that you have the boat? Which is where you go back to your own island?
Yeah, I remember.
To analyze the blood.
That you always arrive by boat on environment or on levels.
Ah, that's the Tash guy. Nice. I used to have a mustache like that at some point. I was like growing my beard long and then I shaved everything apart from the touch. And it was fun. They made fun of me for a week at work.
They were right.
Where are we headed?
We're on our way to the Pembroke Hospital. It's just across the canal. They'll have a bed for poor
How close are we?
William was...
Out of eyes.
What manner of...
It's like, let us know when you see it.
Who can say? The important thing is that he's been stopped.
Duly noted. And the woman? What? Who is she?
What woman?
Yeah, we both love Dishonored, and we are trying to, get some mileage on the streams to get used to stream and to figure out the technicality of it before doing such a good game. But soon we will do it.
Only that with the reality of the situation.
To be honest,
So... Oh, we can't really skip this part.
Yeah, we only have 15 minutes. Let's see if we can get diarrhea.
Yeah.
Welcome to the front lines of a plague.
This is where you work, Dr. Swansea.
I am the administrator of Pembroke Hospital.
I thought you were here in service of your mysterious order, the Brotherhood
of St. Paul's Stone.
Well, yeah, we could do that. We could gather some of your guys' requests and do a special episode.
You are Dr. Jonathan Reed, a surgeon of some caliber and renown.
In fact, I think the second episode that we did was about Titanfall 2, and we did two of my favorite levels, so kind of the same idea, yeah.
Yeah. So when you recommend us a game, if you also know an area of the game or a part of the game that you really like it, let us know, and we'll see if we can. We'll see if Jan can reach that area or if it's too hard.
Blood specialist returns to London a vampire.
That word again, from a so-called man of science.
I understand. Traditionally, the role of science is to refute myth, but when myth walks among us, the Brotherhood of St. Paul has dedicated its purpose to their study.
Is it moving or what the?
Of that, you are right.
What? the body is not moving.
Yeah, it's stuck.
Join my staff
I don't know.
at Pembroke Hospital.
Yeah. Also, yeah, if you send picture, that would be cool too. Yeah, if you play the game and like, oh, I like this this environment. Why do I like it? And we can maybe make a channel on Discord, and you can guys send the picture as big as you can, and then we can directly look at the picture and try to understand from a picture instead of watching
Take a moment to
the
consider.
whole game running.
The post would be for the night shift, providing a good explanation.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
It should be also pretty quick here because otherwise we will need to play the whole game until we reach that part.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a Discord server. Don't know if you catch
let's
the
ask
bot
the-
that was
I
spammed.
have little choice, but yours is a generous offer, so I thank you.
Brilliant. Oh, Jonathan, this is one for the book.
You should find it in the description
Beautiful friendship.
somewhere.
Yeah.
I think if the link is not broken. In the Discord, we post all the screenshot that I take. I posted that in a like a folder in a channel. It's in case you wanna go back to get reminded of things that I said. That's a good way.
Yeah.
And
We
also in the
post a lot
video.
of Italian memes. So
Yeah.
if you're interested in Italian memes, join our Discord.
I think it's broken. Which one is broken? Because there are like 5 different links, and I tried to fix them all, but probably I missed someone. Some.
Yes, well, I'll make a new router in the morning. In the meantime, find a
It's broken. The one with bot or in the description.
attention to his needs.
Of course, Doctor.
Oh, and Dorothy.
Yes, Doctor.
All right, we will investigate it. Actually, I'm gonna post it now. Let me see.
Will be
Yeah.
joining us here at Pembroke. We're very lucky to have gained a surgeon of his talent. And one who's experienced in blood transfusions.
That is good news indeed, Doctor.
Oh, yes.
I think I copied it.
Here at Pembroke, it's not what we have, but what we haven't.
There you go.
Only thanks
This
to
should
those
work.
staff that our ship doesn't sink. If you have any questions, just ask.
Thank you.
Your assistance is required, Dr. Swansea.
Just read the message from a friend.
Catch up after my rounds. Coming, Nurse Crane. I'm coming.
So this is the environment. Alright, up to the stairs.
Oh, we can't really go upstairs because what is going on?
Rotten or pristine, each heart contains
Oh, that bad person.
drink at this. Try it all.
Oh,
Time for some wine.
Oh, come on, you bastard.
You know how in some Asian country they don't allow you to have bloods on or like graphic things in games. I'm wondering if they swap the blood with wine and like drinking wine from people, or like next to every blood puddle and things, there's like a glass of wine.
Insult me again, and I'll put an end to your misery right now.
All right, sorry. I am in pain here.
Yes, that's a very nasty wound. Follow me, Mr. Cox.
blood quality.
Yeah, it should be a doctor, I think. I think the red effect was done like the vampire vision with the post process in the camera, and I think there's also VFX going on that shows the way, and the VFX spawns lights and things like that.
Oh, so sorry. Go ahead.
I can
So what should we do?
go. You're a monster. You're a monster.
In the back, you bastard! Didn't have the guts to fart me. Fuck you. I'll kill you. I'll kill you.
Oh. Cool. So what were you saying?
Yeah, you see, the chat agree with me that you're a monster. So about the red effect here, Father, I think if you probably the battery was dead when we were talking about that with the vampire vision, but it's kind of the same thing with different colors and different things. So just check check the VOD later when you get back and you will see. You'll get your answer, I guess.
Poor Mr. Hampton from attack.
Thank you, nurse.
Dr. Swansea insisted we provide you a quiet off.
Thank you. Nurse, isn't it?
Yes.
Can you imagine if you were talking like that in real life?
Thank you, nurse.
People are talking with you like, thank you. This looks like very grounded to
Good evening.
So it is true.
Do we
to nowadays.
Actually, yeah.
Doctor,
He was all.
what is...
Oh.
Don't be.
What can you...
Summer.
No.
Don't. I'll go eat.
Oh, we found out something, but I wasn't really listening, so... Goodbye.
Goodbye,
Fine.
So... Uh-huh.
Like the storytelling here is really good. As we know, this is an hospital, and we all know, and you can see the state of the universe of this London in the 1990,
This place seems perfect.
1919. It's like there's an outbreak, and they don't have any more beds in this hospital, and they have to create tents to help people and things like that, which is something very believable, as you all know.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
sadly.
Huh? Oh? Invisible wall there.
Yeah, that's what we call a spawner. Spawn. No, how do you call it? Like a room? A spawning room? A closet, sorry. You call it a closet, which is where we spawn NPCs and things behind us that opens and I can close, but you cannot go through. Because the animation of closing and opening door is automatic, so if you will be able to go through, you get stuck in the closet. This is kind of funny. And sometimes we had that bug in Division. It was funny.
It's locked. This must be the place. It's definitely away from prying eyes. Relegated to the shadows. A kingdom of my own. At least I won't be sleeping in a coffin.
Was this room a revise that you wanted to...
Yeah, let's see what's on the desk.
The desk? Here.
Yeah, no, but
William Bishop's blood is much more unstable than human blood. The sun is about to rise.
so like if we look at this, actually, let me go back. Sorry. Yeah, if I look at that, we can see again. I haven't really seen the the environment of this hospital, but one cool thing again, like we were saying earlier with the office room, this is a hospital, I guess, and it's like doing experiment with blood as far as I understood, and you can see all of these like chemical kind of tools where you probably get the blood and it's probably looking the reaction of things there, so probably this is a piece of skin of someone infected or something. Yeah, those are like shots of red wine that is like trying, like tasting, like a sommelier. And we got a good thematic here that remind us that we are in a hospital. Often when you go to hospital or places where doctor or things like that, you will see a lot of this painting about the human body and things like that. But in general, as we were saying earlier for the office, everything that is on the table, or at least I think everything, it's all like a thematic to the hospital thing. And in this specific case, maybe there's also some very unique thing to his profession, which is the log tester, things like that. Also on the shelf here, we also have other potions or things that were used in the past and things like that. And again, as you can see, because hospital is like work, and you need to, I guess it's kind of work, and it's kind of a place that you I don't know, you kind of don't want to go, but it's like a place that is founded by the government, so it has like money and things. You can see again how we got a traditional light fixture on the wall, which means that we have power in this place. And also we got this desk lamp here that is it has this weird rig, but yeah. We got power, which is cool. And we got this light here. And this light here is really good because it really focus and bring attention to the details of the storytelling of this desk here. And yeah, I think I like that this light is not on, but it's there. And often we only see lights where they're on instead of where it would make logically sense to have them. I don't know if that would make sense to have it here, but I guess so, because you wanna do lit this space too, and I guess they just turned it off. And one other thing that is cool about this is that this sort of wall band here. It's kind of cool and adds details. And what it does, it removes a bit of details on some of the it removes a bit of silhouette of some of the objects on the desk, because without that wooden board, you will see much more these objects because they will be against this bright wall. And because of that, you really focus on this area here, which is the only one that has a really good contrast. And probably that's intentional. I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, but that's how I read this space. And in general, we spoke about the importance of having this sort of material variation on the walls and in other episodes, and you should definitely check it out. I think one good episode that we spoke about that was when we talked about Metro. So if you're interested about the details on the wall, check Metro, check Batman, check Cyberpunk. I remember in those three we looked at it. But yeah, long story short, there is a wall, there is a floor. You always want to place something down the corner to break these like very 3D looking meshes and create a nicer transition between the two. Let's see what else we have in this room. The menu, yeah.
The menu?
So I guess this is where you sleep and everything. That's the stash. Yeah, I think the sound is really cool. The rain outside makes it really, really nice. Yeah, can you go on a corner and look on the other side? All right, here, perfect. So if we look at here, okay, let me retake this. Stay there. All right, if we look here, you can see also the contrast between the more like hospital kind of space of this room where he does experiments, and he does tables with which is probably where he put the corpses and things, and he has candles to see the thing, and all the like very traditionally speaking hospital props that are on this side. You can see also the floor. It's a floor easy to clean if there's blood spilled on the floor and things like that. And then on the other side, we got this more like comfy environment, which is like wood, which is like more comfy and more paperwork kind of thing. We got I guess this is a mirror with a thing that kind of helps to blend these two thematics. But then in general, you can see how this side is much more like homey kind of thing. I guess the floor really helps. The fact that we got like a wooden floor here and there, I think really helps to set that idea. And the fact that we got a shelf that instead of having potions and things has books and other things. And then I think on this side we also have a desk with a lot of documents, things that is probably right, and that things that he write when he does his researches and things, which is cool. Yeah, we got also other things there. And I wanna you to look at the details on the wall as well. You can see in the ceiling, you can see how we got these details here, and then we got this sort of skirting, and we got this color band there, and then we got this thing that is there, and then we got another one, and then we got a skirting, and then we got the floor. So those are the things that I was talking about earlier when I was saying like you need to have a good amount of details to move between two different planes in the 3D space, so that you can avoid very 3D looking lines like it will happen in the ceiling. So in this case here, you can see how all these different elements create enough details to blend the details. And when I say blending, I mean like from the big to the medium to the small to the other thing, and that really helps to set that sort of design principle, transition, fundamentals, whatever. And I think that works really well. We got like sitting there, we got the skirting there, and we got another band there, and things like that. And I think we are run out of time a bit, so I think that this is the last one.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see what because it's yeah, I think the lights there, it was a bit weird because it was a kind of a tungsten color light, which is weird for this era, but I guess they wanted really to signpost a different space where you can do different things, like the bed and stuff, like you said, Slohan. This video with timestamp, this video are all timestamped. We save them all, and yeah, you can just go through the chapter and go only on the where we draw. Okay, I think that would be cool, but yeah, I think we run out of time, and maybe it's a long. Yeah, I hope. I think that's all for today. Let's go. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope I gave you some information that would be helpful for you in the future. And again, guys, if you have any comment, feel free to question or comment. Feel free to comment below. And in general, thank you for being here.
And also, what game would you like to see next?
Exactly.
If you have any favorite game you'd like to see, just let us know right away, or in the comments on Discord, whatever you like.
Yeah, and go on YouTube and check the other VOD if you like this one, and you will learn more things. Thanks for watching, and see you later, guys.